straight to our top focus. Conflicting reports coming in from Pakistan over Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar's condition. Some media reports suggest the Jaish chief was killed in the Indian Air Force airstrike on Jaish-e-Mohammed in Balakot. This days after Foreign Minister of Pakistan confirmed the presence of Azhar Masood on the Pakistani soil. Other reports suggest that Maulana Masood Azhar is terminally ill and has been put on dialysis. However, no official word is in from Pakistan on this yet. Shah Mahmood Qureshi's, so much worry about Jaish-e-Mohammed chief's health. A man who is heading a United Nations designated terrorist organization. This tells you the state in Pakistan, the affairs in Pakistan. While Pakistani government and its army have denied any damage from India's airstrike in Balakot, an audio tape of Masood Azhar's brother has now emerged claiming damage to their terror camp. Listen in.
Big admission by terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed after Balakot strike by India on its facility. An audio purportedly with the voice of Jaish chief Masood Azhar's brother Ammar admitted that its terror den was indeed hit in Indian airstrikes in Balakot. India today, however, could not verify the authenticity of the audio clip. The Jaish's admission has put Imran Khan in a fix, who until now has been claiming that no terror camp was hit by the IAF.
हमने इसलिए एक्शन नहीं लिया सुबह क्योंकि हमें पूरी तरह पता नहीं था कि किस तरह का डैमेज हुआ है पाकिस्तान में वो और जब तक वो हमें पता ना चलता तो ये भी बड़ा इररिस्पांसिबल होना था पाकिस्तान से कि अगर हम एक्शन ले लेते और हिंदुस्तान की कैजुअल्टीज कर देते जब हमारी कोई कैजुअल्टी नहीं हुई थी.
Experts believe the airstrikes have seriously compromised capabilities of Jaish to mount another Pulwama-like attack.
We don't want it to be a military target. We don't want to hit civilians. So how will you retaliate? I'm talking of the military retaliation. There are many other aspects and there are very distinguished people who will cover that. But as far as I know that till such time there's a provocation, I don't see anything happening in the immediate future.
By confirming the airstrike on its facility, Jaish-e-Mohammed has left Imran Khan's Naya Pakistan red-faced and lended more credibility to India's stand that it hit terror den deep inside Pakistani mainland in Balakot. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, let me just very quickly tell you about Jaish-e-Mohammed because Pakistanis have already confirmed that Azhar Masood is in Pakistan and the organization that he heads, which people are in fact talking about Jaish-e-Mohammed, the organization which is already a United Nations and United States designated global terrorist organization. Let's very quickly tell you what is Jaish-e-Mohammed, the dreaded Pakistani organization which has been for last many years continuously Pakistan is using as a tool to in fact bleed India with their policy of 1,000 cuts. All right, Jaish-e-Mohammed, of course, Pakistan's pet monster, founder and commander is Masood Azhar, the speculation which is going on about him, whether he's dead or alive. Senior commander and intelligence chief of Jaish-e-Mohammed is Abdul Rauf Asghar. Remember, Masood Azhar was one of the terrorists who was let off after the IC-814 in 1999 was hijacked. Jaish-e-Mohammed was founded in year 2000, so it's been in existence for the last 19 years. headquarters is Bahawalpur in Pakistan. Bahawalpur is a notorious area. Hafiz Saeed also based in this area. Funding is done through Pakistani state, through charitable fronts organization as well. So a lot of funding comes in name of jihad across Pakistan and other charitable organization, supposed charitable organization that they run, affiliated to Al-Qaeda and Taliban. In fact, initially, all the Jaish terrorists were trained in Afghanistan. After the fall of Taliban, they were shifted to Balakot, and that is why Balakot was an important terror camp which was hit. Small towns recruitment, where do the people, these Fidains, come from? Small towns and madrasas of South Kashmir, Pakistan's Multan, Bahawalpur, Rahim Yar Khan area. These are very important. If you go back and see the entire, the people, those who have come and joined Jaish-e-Mohammed, most of them from very impoverished backgrounds, most of them from places where Jaish chief and his lieutenants have a very heavy presence, and they brainwash these people. Now, 2,000 fighters, estimated strength is about 2,000 fighters, 300 suicide bombers. Balakot was the main suicide bomber training camp, and that is why it was top of the radar, top of the agenda of the Indian airstrikes when they struck, in fact, Balakot. Commando trained force. There is an Afzal Guru squad which was formed in 2014 after Afzal Guru, who was one of the main accused as far convict in the parliament attack in India, was hung. So that is their suicide commando squad. They have a 6.5-acre walled complex in Bahawalpur. This is also supposed to be a big training center. This was not hit by the Indian forces this time because of the civilian population that surrounds this massive, in fact, walled complex of Jaish-e-Mohammed. Let me very quickly now take you to what we are asking today, the top questions on the burning question. Has Indian Air Force severely crippled Jaish-e-Mohammed's, the entire capability to hit and attack in Kashmir, continue their attacks in Kashmir? Question number 2, Jaish terror admission exposes Naya Pakistan. And, we keep saying this, but there is nothing new. When the foreign minister of Pakistan so boldly to international media claims that he is in our country, what can you expect of that country now? Question number 3, is Pakistan covering up Masood Azhar's death? Or is this just a ploy by the ISI? In fact, they are cornered. They are now only using this hoax to save their face. And question number 4, cornered Imran looking for a face saver. Peace gesture, Nobel Peace Prize. Nobody is getting fooled by the fact till the time you don't work against terrorists. You can't fool people with all these desperate measures, gestures. Sultan Halid, defense expert from Pakistan, is joining us at the broadcast. Air Marshal Anil Chopra is also joining us this morning. Gaurav Sawant, Executive Editor, India Today, is joining us as well. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you so much for being with us this morning. Let me start with you, Mr. Halid. What gives... isn't it audacious that the foreign minister of Pakistan comes out and says, Masood Azhar is very well in Pakistan. He knows to the extent how unwell he is, and also then goes on to say Jaish did not do it, despite Jaish claiming the responsibility of the Pulwama attack. This tells you, nothing gives you a better example of the mindset of the Pakistani state shielding the terrorists, sir.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. In response to your question, to start with, how are we shielding Masood Azhar? Masood Azhar happens to be a Pakistani citizen, and if he is present in our country, we are not going to lie about it. And if the man is sick, we are not going to lie about it. So what our foreign minister said was that he only confirmed that the man is available in Pakistan. We will go after him if we have plausible evidence that he was engaged in Pulwama attack or the one before that, Pathankot or whatever. You have sent us a dossier. The unfortunate incident of Pulwama took place on the 14th of February. After 14 days, you sent us the dossier. Now we are examining it, and in light of it, if there is credible evidence, we will definitely proceed against
Sultan
it.
Ali, what could be more credible evidence than the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the terrorist group which is headed by Masood Azhar, themselves claiming that we are the ones, those who perpetrated this attack? The Minister of Pakistan himself is trying to shield them and saying, no, they did not. There is some confusion about it. It has made Pakistan a butt of jokes across the world, sir. The international interview to the channel that you were giving to, the foreign minister was giving to, he himself put out Jaish's press release in which Jaish is claiming that we in fact perpetrated this attack. There are audio tapes of Maulana Masood Azhar talking about the Pulwama attack, and you are telling me, sir, that we need to wait for evidence. Dossiers after dossiers have been given to you.
So far, I'm in picture of only one dossier, which our Prime Minister mentioned while he was addressing the joint parliament. Now, as far as Masood Azhar's or his group taking credence or claiming responsibility for the Pulwama attack, that again has to be examined whether they actually took credit or it was something which was conjured by people on your side. We do not know for sure. You yourself just mentioned.
Amazing the kind of whataboutery that goes about these terrorists, those who are not, they are just not harming India. They are a big threat to your own country, and despite that, it seems Air Marshal Chopra that Pakistan has completely closed their eyes. What do you make, Air Marshal Chopra, of this new admission by the Pakistanis in which Azhar Masood's brother himself claims that the incompetent Pakistani armed forces let the Indians come as close as to Balakot and hit their own terror camps?
Ankit, undoubtedly the Pakistani establishment from the day one has been downplaying the airstrikes, and that was expected. It's of course unfortunate that some in India are also questioning the strike, which of course is related to the election time here. Now, first, is Azhar Masood in Pakistan? Yes. Enough number of statements have been made by various officials of the Pakistan establishment that he is there. Whether he is sick or not, yes, he is sick because he is being treated in a military hospital. Once again, admission has been made by the Pakistanis at various levels. So his presence, yes, it's there. Whether Jaish-e-Mohammed has carried out this attack, within 2 hours of Pulwama attack, statements have been made, and many other statements thereafter have come out from Pakistan that the attack has been made by them. Now, whether the strike was carried out, undoubtedly the strike was carried out because the first to inform the entire world was the DG ISPR that the strikes have been carried out. Whether the strikes were successful, yes, they were successful. The Pakistanis have admitted that, because if they were not successful, they wouldn't have made a retaliatory attempt to come and attack us. They acknowledged 12 Mirage 2000s have come. Mirage 2000s are using very accurate GPS stroke laser bombs, and if 12 of them were dropped, most of them would have hit the targets. Now, whether terrorism will finish in a single strike, of course it will not.
Yes, sir.
You know, like Jaish-e-Mohammed, there are 10, 12 other equally big organizations in Pakistan.
Right.
They have got hundreds of camps spread all over Pakistan. They are educating and training fresh recruits all the time. A single strike cannot obviously finish the entire terrorism. Will another Pulwama happen again? Anything can happen again. So what we have achieved in this strike is we have sent a signal that enough is enough. And if you will carry on with this terrorism, we will keep repeating such strikes and maybe come.
So let me get Gaurav as well on this. Gaurav, a United Nations designated terrorist organization. In 2001, United Nations, in fact, went ahead and Jaish-e-Mohammed was designated as a global terror organization. Maulana Masood Azhar himself and his organization is a globally designated terrorist by United States. He is the terrorist who was freed by the Pakistanis with the help of Taliban in the IC-814 hijacking. And Pakistan, despite even a new attempt to designate him as a United Nations global terrorist, keeps telling that he is an innocent Pakistani civilian, which we are bound to protect.
This is shocking for the rest of the world, but not for Pakistanis, and sadly not even for air warriors like Group Captain Sultan Hali. One would have expected him at least to stand on the side of what is right, especially at a time when Maulana Masood Azhar made an attempt to assassinate Pakistan's then President Pervez Musharraf. And in fact, it was India's intelligence agencies that warned Musharraf that Jaish-e-Mohammed is trying to assassinate him. He survived. Jaish-e-Mohammed is a banned terrorist organization even in Pakistan, and yet there is no action taken against him. And Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi ties himself in knots while trying to say, yes, he's here, but he's unwell. He cannot step out of his house. That's not the point. Here is a man who's carried out an attack on the Indian Parliament. That is when Jaish-e-Mohammed got banned as a terrorist organization. Here is a man who was responsible for the attack on Pathankot, where Pakistan's ISI was given unprecedented access to an Indian military base. Pakistan promised, a solemn promise made by state, that they would investigate and they would take action. Yet nothing was done after the Pathankot terror attacks. After Pulwama, India has given another dossier, but Pakistan has not taken any action whatsoever against Jaish-e-Mohammed cadre. At a rally in Peshawar, and Group Captain Sultan Hali will bear me out, if a rally of terrorists is being held, and incidentally it's been photographed extensively, there are Maulana Masood Azhar who's on stage at that rally, there are several others on that on stage on that rally. At that rally they're saying, yes, India has targeted us in Balakot, yes, action has been taken against us, and we will wage jihad against India in Kashmir. So there are audio tapes in our possession that seem to indicate that. Should Pakistan not be investigating all of this and take action against Maulana Masood Azhar and JEM? Sadly, they still do not do so.
Sultan Ali, nothing could have put it better than what Gaurav is saying. The problem, sir, here is that there is absolutely nothing that can be trusted from the other side, from the Pakistani side, because, sir, despite all these overwhelming evidence, people like you also keep on going around, tying the country in knots by saying he's a Pakistani citizen who has nothing to do with terror or anything else. You are talking about give credible evidence, from India. What has happened to the investigation in the assassination attempt of the former president of Pakistan, Pervez Musharraf, who in fact, right after India attacked these terror camps, had come on India today and said that I wanted this man banned. He should have been put behind bars in Pakistan. What is such a compulsion that you can't do away with people like Maulana Masood Azhar?
Well, to start with, at the very beginning of your program, you yourself mentioned that the audio tape which you were making us listen to has not been authenticated. So how can you base judgment on an audio tape which has not been authenticated?
What about their website, sir? Jaish-e-Mohammed's website, the book, the newspaper that is run by them, all of them came out with the same response. They claim the responsibility of the Pulwama attack. Even that has been fabricated.
Well, how do we know that 6 years that Masood Azhar stayed in India as your guest?
Not as a guest, sir, as a convict, as a terrorist who was put inside a jail, not as a guest. He was a guest of honor by Pakistanis who in fact went ahead, perpetrated the hijacking, and post that with the help of Taliban he was released. So not as a guest, sir, he is a guest in Pakistan, not in India. Please go ahead.
Sir, I'm saying it sardonically because I believe that you turned him and he is your agent and you are using him time and again to carry out or perpetrate attacks, and then you blame it on us.
So he's our agent, and your agencies, your army, your government is so incompetent that Masood Azhar still has a free hand and he's still living freely in Pakistan. Mr. Ali, I mean, it's a laughable thing that you're saying, sir. Our agent, you know it, and he's still working and perpetrating attacks as we wanted in Kashmir. That's a great argument, sir.
Well, take it as you like, but this was my opinion. And we have never said that we protect him. We are on the lookout.
We don't protect him. It's just that you don't protect him. It's just that the foreign minister of Pakistan has a hotline with Maulana Masood Azhar. Air Marshal Anil Chopra, is this the problem that even people like Sultan Ali, the sensible ones in Pakistan, the civil society in Pakistan, people those who in fact usually talk sense when it comes to Maulana Masood Azhar, come up with the arguments like he's a double agent, he's an agent of India, and the incompetent ISI and the Pakistani army has not been able to do anything about him?
I think some of these statements are unfortunate. Today, what we should not be debating is whether Masood is in Pakistan, is Jaish-e-Mohammed is doing any terrorist attack. This is not what we should be debating. What we should be debating perhaps today is how to take him out, how to eradicate terrorism from Pakistan, how the Pakistani government, which keeps making some peace-like statements, but actually physically does nothing. Every now and then, Pakistani establishment tells us after a massive terror attack, let's talk. When there is a time to talk, the only thing they want to talk is Kashmir. They say there is no terrorism. We have nothing to do with terrorism. So the point I'm making is, why are you even we be discussing whether Masood is in Pakistan, whether Jaish-e-Mohammed is doing terrorism? This is a known fact. The whole world knows it. It has the Americans have known it. We have known it. Everybody knows, and including Pakistanis have been saying that. So now let me say something that what needs to be done next. First, under military, diplomatic, economic pressure, Pakistan has to be made to take action against the Jaish-e-Mohammed. This guy should not only be blacklisted, actually he should be handed over, if not to India, to any third party in the world, if they are really serious to act against terror. As far as India is concerned, militarily we had to continue to be on a hot standby. We have to respond to the Pakistani shelling on LOC with disproportionately higher response. If nothing is going to change in next 8-10 days, I think India should be ready for yet another airstrike, again as a signal to Pakistan that enough is enough. And I am telling you that this whole exercise of wasting everybody's time, he's there, he's not there, should stop, and India must keep the pressure on. Notwithstanding the election time in India, which unfortunately is complicating the issues, the pressure that we have to maintain has to continue.
Okay. Gaurav, you know, the whole idea around whether the strikes took place, how successful they were, when the people, those who have been struck, Jaish-e-Mohammed, they themselves now come out and claim that we have been struck, our terror camp has been struck, and they in fact go on to berate the Pakistani army, saying that this is the same army with 90,000 of them surrendered in front of India in Bangladesh and continue to, you know, they said that we'll continue our jihad. Talking about the Pakistani army and the incompetence that they let the 12 Mirage fighters go deep inside Pakistan. Now, Jaish-e-Mohammed, which Pakistani state and ISI is shielding, is embarrassing them only.
This indeed is, and Pakistan is caught between a rock and a hard place because Pakistan's economy is crashing. Group Captain Hali lives in Pakistan. Perhaps he can tell us better. Whether it's fuel prices, that's going up, food shortages are happening, road transport is affected, their aviation corridor is severely affected, ships are not very keen to come into Pakistan because insurance rates are going up. So Pakistan is in deep trouble, and it is for the Pakistani civil society and the people to mount pressure on the government. Who do they like? Do they like a civilized world, or do they like terrorists like Maulana Masood Azhar and Hafiz Saeed, incidentally, because Pakistan has taken no action against Hafiz Saeed, who continues to be a UN designated terrorist. So, and Lashkar-e-Taiba is a terrorist organization. There is a Financial Action Task Force that's also breathing down Pakistan's neck. Their foreign exchange reserves down to less than $6 billion now. So trouble is mounting. Saudi Arabia hasn't given Pakistan a single rupee of the $20 billion that has been promised. And incidentally, OIC, Pakistan is a founder member of OIC. Pakistan was out of OIC this time, and in the final declaration of OIC, there is no mention of Kashmir, but there is a mention of terrorism. So Pakistan needs to wake up, smell the coffee, and act against these terrorist organizations, or as Air Marshal Chopra very rightly pointed out, India will take out terrorists, whether it's through an airstrike, whether it's through ground troops, whether it's some sea action, whether it is some other covert means that are used, that is immaterial. And the disparity between India and Pakistan is rising so much, there is precious little that Pakistan will be able to do except continue with its bluster.
Absolutely. It's amazing that I was just reading the other day, one country which has put a gun to itself, to its head, and keeps threatening the entire world that we will commit suicide if you don't let us be. amazing the way, and it's with you have opened three fronts. And Sultan Ali, I want to come back and just understand from you about Balakot and of course the situation with Iran as well and Afghanistan, where both your neighbors and India included right now, all three neighbors are pointing fingers at you. If this is not the time for introspection, possibly it will be too late in just a short while from now. Sultan Ali, in the 1980s, the Pakistanis, an average Pakistani's income was more than India, about 50% more than India. And today, India is 25%. Every average Indian is earning more than 25% more than a Pakistani. The economy of your country is in a state of collapse completely. Imran Khan has been going again and again asking the IMF to bail him out, to give him some money. Apart from that, the Financial Action Task Force is breathing down your neck, as Gaurav said, and this is only going to get more embarrassing and more difficult for Pakistan. I just want to understand from you, sir, what are the compulsions of saving somebody like a Masood Azhar or Hafiz Saeed as far as Pakistan is concerned, despite overwhelming global evidence, not only from India, but from CIA, from other agencies against all these terrorists?
Thank you so much for your deep concern about the state of economy and the other woes that bemoan us in Pakistan. But coming to your question, what are we going to do? You have given us a dossier, and which you believe, I'm sure, that it contains hard evidence. We are examining it, and in light of it, if there is concrete evidence, if it is actionable intelligence, we will definitely go after the man and his organization and take adequate action. Yes, in the past, you may claim that you gave us dossier and we did not act. I will not, I'm not a spokesman either for this government or the previous ones, but I will tell you one thing, that we now have a new government, which means business, which is serious, and it's just been a couple of days that you have given us the dossier. We are examining it, and we will definitely take action if we find it.
Sir, the problem is that this has been heard time and again. And when the foreign minister of your country comes out and makes a complete fool of himself in front of international media, trying to justify, trying to deny, trying to in fact speak about Masood Azhar, sir, you had asked, the same sort of language was spoken after 26/11. Dossier was given. That dossier has not even seen the light of the day in a Pakistani court. Those evidence have not been put in front of Pakistani court, and that is to the admission of the senior investigating officers in Pakistan, those who were in fact connected with this case. How does India trust Pakistan at all, sir?
I said that trust is a two-way street. We have a fresh government, and you will have to give it a chance. You can't expect results 2 days after that. And please also remember, you yourself are admitting that India carried out a surgical strike on the 26th, and your dossier was received on the 27th. So you strike first and then you give a dossier. That's unfortunate. But anyway, now that we have your dossier, we are definitely examining it.
So what to do with a neighbor that just doesn't understand? So possibly it's a time to change tactics. We have put trust in Pakistan time and again, only to be betrayed. Air Marshal Chopra, as Sultan Ali is saying, does India have the elbow room to trust Pakistan? And given the way they have reacted to this entire situation when it comes to the Pulwama attack and the aftermath?
You know, in view of the continued denials and inaction, I think the Indian government has no choice but to take yet another proactive action. You know, Pakistan also has its fissures. We all know the problems they have with Afghanistan, the problems they have with Baltistan, they have got problems with the Baluchs, they have problems with Sindhis. You know, if they are going to continue to export terror into India, I think a time has now come to up the ante and exploit the fissures within Pakistan society to covertly or overtly support these groups to create chaos for Pakistan. You know, if we have to live as friendly neighbors, the only requirement that India has from Pakistan is clear and solid action against terrorism. And I'm telling you, the day they were actually to do that, you will find that the relations between the two countries will change all of a sudden. But since they continue to deny, they do not wish to take any action, it is no choice now for India to go to the next step and openly support these groups which have got huge issues with the Pakistani government, who are mostly controlled from the Pakistani Punjab. So I think we are being forced to take such action. In India is a responsible country. It has made, for 30 years, it made all kinds of attempts to try and make the Pakistan establishment understand.
Yes.
They have tried to tell the whole world of what is going on. But I think the next steps have now to be initiated by India.
Gaurav, I want you to come in on this, and I just want to, in conclusion, ask you, there is a paradigm shift in the way India has responded after Pulwama, and despite the global isolation, because this is not the first time Pakistan has been isolated the way they have been, but despite that, it doesn't seem that there is any change of thought as far as the Pakistani establishment and people at large are concerned. What could be step next for India?
Ankit, a series of measures that are currently being undertaken will only be intensified in the weeks and months to come. This military action, as you very rightly point out, targeting a terrorist training camp in Balakot, this is a game changer because a threshold has been crossed. This is like a new normal for India. God forbid if Pakistan tries something again, there will be punitive strikes because, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has set a benchmark. Post 26/11, despite the Air Force saying this should happen, it did not happen. Pakistan's retaliation shows Pakistan's failure when 24 aircraft attempted to come in and they could not. One of their aircraft went down. 2 of their pilots are apparently missing. There is still no clarity on that aspect. Wing Commander Abhinandan is back. It's also India's military, economic and diplomatic clout across the world. Every previous terror attack, the world would say restrained, tell India to be restrained. After this terror attack, the world is telling Pakistan to act against terror. China's also, Pakistan's only all-weather friend, is also relatively quiet on this, and we need to see what happens at the United Nations Security Council. India needs to press home that advantage, continue to isolate Pakistan diplomatically, and Ankit, more important, ensure that there is economic action against Pakistan, because that's the only way the Pakistani people will put pressure on their army that you can't corner 90% of our budget and yet promote only terror and yourselves.
Absolutely. And this can be an ongoing discussion which has been going on for a very long time, but the fact remains till the time people like Sultan Ali and others, those who are in Pakistan, they in fact raise questions, serious questions within the country. Situation is not going to change. It is only going to get harder for Pakistan. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on this burning question debate.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.